The fuel scarcity is affecting everybody, but what is more important to me, what is even affecting me more, is the total bad leadership we have currently. You know, the incompetence, the level of incompetence we have in the people that manage our resources, our country at this point. You know, it has gotten to the stage where every Nigerian at this point will have to stand up and say, no, we cannot continue like this again.
Some motorists who were seen queuing for fuel, who spoke with Moneyline with Nancy, condemned bitterly of the situation, stressing that Nigerians shall grow beyond expressing scarcity of fuel.
It is. I'm sure the people that are in charge, they know what they're doing. That's just what I have to say. They know what they are doing, because it's of no use. How can you say in a country where it doesn't mean that the next filling station that you're going to get?
I've been in the queue for more than 3 hours now. And everybody can see with their eye what we are going through in this government.
Meanwhile, the recent statement issued by the Nigerian midstream and downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority on the matter reveals that limited quantity of petrol with methanol quantities above Nigerian specification was discovered in the supply chain. It assures the public that the NNPC has sufficient PMS stock to meet the needs of Nigerians, stressing that the company has intensified efforts at increasing the supply of petrol in order to bridge any unforeseen supply gaps.
In the past few weeks, queues continue to appear and disappear in petrol stations in Abuja and neighboring states, as marketers confirmed that aside from panic buying by the motorists, there has been disruptions in PMS supply. Emmanuel Howdy reporting for Moneyline with Nancy.
All right, welcome back. As you can see from that report, we are moving straight ahead into the conversation about this dirty fuel, adulterated fuel in the system. And I have Dr. Billy Gillis Harry, the president of Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association. Thank God I didn't miss that, because it's a mouthful. He's the president of Petron. So if you hear that, Petron, then this long stuff. Anyway, welcome to you, Doctor. And I know I last spoke to you some days ago when we were talking about this fuel subsidy issue. Why is it that you guys are in the news again? Everything about fuel subsidy, everything about adulterated fuel. And I've been talking about this now at least for the last 15, 16 years. And I'm really tired of talking about it, because it seems we know the problems, the solutions are seemingly there, but yet things are not done the right way. Take a look at this issue of this dirty fuel. Anybody, I studied sciences. I have a science background. To an extent, I have chemistry knowledge. If you want to take out crude, you know, at different temperatures, diesel will go this one and this one and this one. So what exactly is the problem? Why are we having this?
Well, I would not say that we are isolated. I will not say that Nigeria is alone. We have problems about petroleum products all over the world. That's why we have an equal and opposite association in South Africa. It's also called the Petroleum Product Retail Outlet Owners Association of South Africa. The reality is that petroleum products, whether we like it or not, is the basis of fueling our everyday energy to drive the economy of this world. Not just you may be talking about renewable energy, water, steam, and all of that, but at the end of the day, fossil fuel is the center stage. So let me take your question. Why is it that
you people don't want to, you're still living in the past, or you're still just trying to hype yourself that fossil fuel, because we're saying that renewable energy is what's catching up now, but that's a discussion for another day.
Yeah, well, but a discussion for another day. But the reality is at the end of the day, you need to know what is cheap, what is affordable, what is stable, what will not fluctuate, and fossil fuel will be the answer. So, yes, there is alternative energy coming, but I don't think Nigeria should be bothered about what happens to our crude oil. Well, let me get back to the question you asked. Why are we in the news? Yeah. We're in the news, I believe all for the best reason for Nigeria. It's because we are in a season and time where a lot of activities and transitions centered around the petroleum industry. Subsidy issue has come and gone, and of course we hope that the subsidy matter will be dealt with appropriately. as for this fuel that's here, I've heard you describe it as dirty, as this, as that.
Adulterated.
Adulterated. Well, the reality is that on the pump. So this situation that has happened, as retail outlet owners, we are the worst hit because, as usual, we are the last mile in the distribution network. So, of course, the people that will be held accountable by the housewife, by drivers, by CEOs, by news people like you will be the retail outlets. We are willing to explain to everyone that in this case, yes, the authority has come out to tell us exactly what has happened. Methanol was added over and above the expected value for the PMS that we use in Nigeria. The easiest anybody who has science background will understand that when methanol reacts with oxygen, with air, there will always be that kind of reaction that will bring those kind of semi-solid particles. So yes, this has happened. It is a big blow on the Nigerian economy, and for us as retail outlet owners, we are worse hit. But still, because we know that this was not a deliberate attempt by
is it not just underplaying is it not underplaying the situation and not making people accountable? President Buhari, I learned, has queried the authority about this. So what you're saying right now, is it not just underplaying the situation and not having punishment for those that are supposed to supervise?
I'm not saying that punitive measures should not be meted out.
Because what you said now is not intentional.
Yeah, no, but it's not intentional. There's no way anybody.
How do you know it's
not
intentional?
Well, because we're in the business. So we know that nobody is going to intentionally ship 68,000 metric tons of PMS into Nigeria that he knows is contaminated.
How would you say that? Except an investigation is done, and just like the president has called for.
That's what we called for.
Yeah.
We called for investigation. I believe that some of the strident complaints we made also culminated into this decision that the authority was talking about on the news just yesterday.
At what point, when exactly did you people as an association realize that there's adulterated fuel in the system?
Well,
I saw something about January. Is it?
No, it's not true.
Okay, so when exactly did you realize?
We got to know about this just about the 2nd, 3rd, 4th of this month. The problem probably have been there, but you know, it's a manageable problem internally, because what has happened now is that there is so much commercial disruption. Fuel is no longer sold in the stations. People who bought the fuel are already arresting retail outlet owners and creating problem. And of course, we are not going to fold our hands to say our members being harassed by anybody. And that is why we stood up as an association, patriotic association, serving Nigeria and serving our members to ensure that nobody is on the losing end. Of course, we are not saying there should be punitive measures. We recommend punitive measures because it's a major crisis in the country. Our reputation, our institutions, you know, for regulations and compliance are being put into trial. So we are not saying that, but what we are saying is that the situation should not be, you know, played more worse than it is, because genuine fuel is coming. NNPC is working very hard. PPMC is working very hard to make sure that there is fuel that are meeting for in the retail outlets.
Now, do you have a time frame when NNPC, because NNPC is the one that imports this fuel?
Yes, yes.
You and your colleagues don't do that anymore.
No, we don't, but we will be happy to start helping to import, because we have the capacity.
Yes, you said that before,
Yes.
at least in previous programs that I've had with you. So to an extent, NNPC, the authority and all of that should be held responsible for this, because there's a monitoring system and an evaluation system to know the specs, to evaluate what comes into the country. So them to have missed this, they should be held accountable.
Well, the reality, let me say this, I'm not speaking for anybody, but the reality is that when difficulties come, sometimes it comes surreptitiously. In this case, there could be a number of issues, but clearly it has been defined that the ethanol quantity that was mixed into our PMS was much more than required. So that is clear that the authority is honest about it, and they are talking about, and they are already taking preventive steps, and also to make sure that there is petroleum product in the system immediately.
For that, have they promised
we are working towards that. Look, all of us as Nigerians, we have responsibility. We cannot leave it just only to the authority or to an NPC. We as an association must also rise up to the occasion. We must help. Like, for instance, before this announcement came, Petron members were already starting to look for internal mechanism to help. Unfortunately, the more you drain and you think you've gotten pure petrol and expose it again to oxygen or just some air, or there's water, that gets it, the more the semi-solid liquid particles come in. But we were trying as much as we can to make sure that our retail outlets are not closed. That is a patriotic work to make sure that Nigeria rose. Because at the end of the day, we know that without petrol PMS, the economy is going to ground.
You know what?
Yes.
I don't want us, because we are looking at this thing from the face value, and a lot of Nigerians are affected. And let me just give you a clear example. For someone that is doing kabu, for example, a taxi driver goes into a petrol station, gets fuel, and his engine starts having problem or something. This is a man that is struggling. This is a man now that his engine has problem, may not have money to fix it, untold hardship, will not give his wife money to go to the market and all of that. So it's a cycle. So it's not something that we should downplay, because Nigerians are suffering at this point.
It's not being downplayed. If you listen carefully to what Mr. Farouk said, he said that there will be consequences. There will be commercial, repercussions. And he said it very clearly. So it's not like anybody is just going to be let off the hook, because it's a problem. But as a responsible Nigerian, I know that this problem has come. We don't need to create more problem out of it. We should all work together to find solution. And that is what I think every association that is working on this.
Before this adulteration news came in, there was few queues. Yes. Why? Because people were thinking either the government would will remove subsidy. It did not happen. Some people were also of the school of thought that you and your colleagues were trying to hoard the commodity.
Let me explain something to all of us as Nigerians. A retail outlet has fuel from several different layers. And the profit margin is so minimal that it is not in the interest of any Petron member to hoard petroleum products. He needs to get it and sell it off, so that the cost of money from bank does not, drown him. So the question of hoarding is just only a speculation, and is not in any way going to be what Petron members would do. I cannot speak for everybody, but I can speak for my members who are very patriotic and focused on ensuring that there's discipline, there is efficiency in petroleum product delivery, because we know the importance of the use of PMS, the diesel, even ATK for our travels. And that is a major catalyst in growing the economy. So that was a speculation that was not correct. But let me say this. Whether you like it or not, human beings will always want to play to their best advantage. So we cannot say 100% that people were not speculating. But as for hoarding, there's no way we can talk about that.
Okay.
And then thereafter, this fuel thing just came up almost back to back.
Now, let's take a look at the issue of black marketers, because when I get so upset and angry that when I'm passing petrol stations, the petrol or your retail outlets are closed, but there are black marketers in front. Where are those guys that are carrying, when you leave the studio now, we're in Asokoro, just pass through the federal, the police headquarters and co, you see 2 filling stations there, you see black marketers hanging around, and I'm like, see, there's a security agency, there's the headquarters of police, see, people are breaking the law. Are we really a serious country? I just laugh when I'm passing there. What I'm trying to say in essence is that why would a retail outlet be closed and you see black marketers selling fuel in jerry cans at close to 300 naira a litre? Where are they getting the fuel? So it's a racket.
Well, it's unfortunate that we find ourselves into that kind of situation. It should be discouraged. I will call on our members who are retail outlet owners to make sure that such jerry cans should not stay around the filling stations, and also we will call on the security agencies to be able to help us enforce some of all these things. Because at the end of the day, whatever we are doing, if it's not going to help to grow the economy, we shoot ourselves in the foot, and we must all have that patriotic zeal to do everything possible to get it right. Nigeria is a great country. So I'm not among those who believe that Nigeria is getting to the door. We must grow. And I believe that this country will get to a very, very well recognized superpower status in this country. So these are little things that we can do. Every retail outlet owner should tell the people there, don't put it, because they didn't probably buy it from that particular outlet.
So where did they buy it from?
Well, they
Come on, President. Come on, President.
No, they did not get it in that particular retail outlet.
But they are in front.
Because if the retail outlet is closed, there's no way they can be buying petrol.
President, are you telling me that it's just that I don't have time now to probe more? Are you telling me that those guys, they will come from another petrol station?
They could have bought it, put it in the car, and then take it close to retail outlet.
But we know, and we've investigated those things time without number. Even when we've seen, this is not the first time we're having fish scarcity in the country.
And the retail outlet there is
in fact, there was some days ago, and the gate was closed. The guy came out and told me that he would open this gate for me, give him 1,000 naira to go in, and he would tell one of those guys to sell.
Nancy, come on. You guys should do us good.
That's what I was told some days ago.
You have our compliance numbers everywhere. We are on television, we are on radio, we are in 6 outlet owners. We must be responsible and we must be disciplined. If our hotline and drop a message.
Okay, doctor, you know the assignment. I'll give to you now. When you leave the studio, we're in Asokoro, go down the hill, go towards the IG headquarters. There are 2 filling stations there. Check out what I'm saying. Check it out. And I'll get back to you. But just before, just as we close in 30 seconds, I also know that some of your outlets have this dirty fuel, so to speak. How will they get it out? You know, how is the process going to be?
Because the process will be cumbersome. Yeah, it's going to be cumbersome. That is part of the complaints that we have made, because we do not know the level of corrosion, the level of damage this will cause to some of our storage facilities. But as I speak to you, members are busy trying to make sure that they evacuate that product, sometimes with pressure pumps. And then now that the authority has come out to say, look, isolate the products that are wrong. That's the right thing to do.
Would there be any compensation?
Well, we expect that there should.
And even to commuters, even to tourists?
Look, right now, as I speak to you, many of my members are already being harassed by motorists who bought fuel, and because they don't know the depots. They don't know NNPC. They just know the retail outlets. And that is what we are going to suffer for some time. So now we go to the police, we have to start explaining what is going on. But we have to pass it on to somebody. So Every report that we're getting, ultimately we passed on to the authorities, and we should expect that there should be some level of recompense.
Okay, I think we'll follow that up. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you.
For speaking with us today. I've been speaking with Dr. Billy Gillis Harry, who is the President, Petroleum Product Retail Outlet Owners Association, President of Petron. As we move forward with the program, the federal government of Nigeria, through the Central Bank of Nigeria, says it will remain committed in ensuring the country remains self-sufficient in the production of staple foods. President Muhammadu Buhari and the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, recently launched mega rice pyramids in Abuja, which is the biggest in Africa, stressed that this present administration will ensure it alleviates poverty through agriculture. Emmanuel Aldu was there, and he completes the story.
The Central Bank of Nigeria's Aquaborans program started in November 2015 with the goal of providing aid to farmers and influencing the value chain of various commodities in Nigeria. The CBN has carried out interventions aimed at sustaining recovery of output growth and addressing downside risk to other external and domestic shocks to the economy. Interventions continue largely in manufacturing industries, agriculture, energy infrastructure, healthcare, and micro, small, and medium enterprises. Under the target credit facility, the bank has disbursed a total of 36.78 billion naira to 777,666 beneficiaries, comprising over 638,070 households and 128,649 small businesses. Under its agribusiness small and medium enterprise investment scheme, the bank has released over 134.63 billion naira to 37,571 entrepreneurs. Between November and December 2021, under the Anchor Borrowers program, the bank disbursed 75.99 billion naira to support the cultivation of over 250 hectares of maize, sorghum, soya beans, and rice during the 2021 dry season, and 5.88 billion naira to finance 6 large-scale agriculture projects under the Commercial Agriculture Credit Scheme. Cumulatively, the bank has disbursed over 818 billion naira to 4.1 million farmers cultivating over 5.02 million hectares. The bank also disbursed a sum of 41.2 billion naira for the commencement of the Brown Revolution, a large-scale wheat program to win the country off import by 35% in the first year. The celebration of the return of rice pyramids in Nigeria will not be complete without taking a retrospective look into the past at a period where Nigeria had a preponderance of imported rice into the Nigerian market, with only 6 functional integrated rice mills and a national paddy output of about 4.5 million metric tons per hectare. The Nigerian rice industry was unattractive for both farmers and the millers. Production was at a substantive level and farmers had no access to critical farm inputs and credit. The demand-supply gap for milled rice was being met with imports of over 600 billion naira worth of rice annually. In 2015, when the Hako Boras program was introduced as a game changer for smallholder farmers financing, it created a dynamic ecosystem among all stakeholders to the provision of input in kind biometric identification of farms and farmers, extension workers, through well-established off-take contracts and further linkages to the agro processors to ensure the transmissions of the grain from the primary production to other nodes of the value chain.
I am indeed delighted that the Anchor Borrowers Program continues to receive commendations since its introduction 6 years ago, as it has become one of the reference points in the administration's agricultural revolution effort. In fact, the program speaks loudly in its giants as it has increased access to finance by our rural farmers who, before now, were virtually excluded from the financial system. The Anchor Borrowers Program has so far supported over 4.8 million smallholder farmers across Nigeria for the production of 23 agricultural commodities, including maize, rice, oil palm, cocoa, cotton, cassava, tomato, and livestock. Today, rice production in Nigeria has increased to over 7.5 million metric tons annually. Prior to the introduction of Anchor Borrowers Program, the average production in Nigeria between 1999 and 2015 was less than 4 metric tons annually. I am aware that the bag is no doubt a testament to the fact that the Anchor Borrowers Program is working. Indeed, these sky-high pyramids for which we are gathered here to commission are part of our commitment at achieving national food security and economic diversification through homegrown policies targeted at securing food for all Nigerians. As a critical policy of the government, the Anchor Borrowers Program is expected to catalyze the agricultural productive base of the nation, which is a major part of our economic plan to uplift the economy, create jobs, produce resilience on imported food and industrial raw materials, and conserve foreign exchange. This has resulted in bridging our rice consumption gap, a significant reduction in rice imports, and saved us foreign exchange. The commissioning of these rice pyramids today is an indication that our country is making steady and assured progress towards self-sufficiency in food production, and it is my desired hope and expectation that other agricultural commodity associations that are yet to participate under the Anchor Borrowers Program will emulate the Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria in supporting our administration's drive for food self-sufficiency. I would like to see this opportunity to commend the Central Bank of Nigeria for its recent efforts at resuscitating the Nigerian Commodity Exchange following my approval to do so. This has been done in the hope that our farmers can have ready buy by resolving the current logistical challenge of more produce from farm to markets. Let me also commend the Governor and the staff of the Central Bank of Nigeria, as well as the leadership of the Rice Association of Nigeria for the successful delivery of these permits, which hopefully is just the first of many that will be unveiled this year across Nigeria.
The Anko-Boras program has catalyzed the rural economy and has built a sustainable framework for financing smallholder farmers in Nigeria. The program has developed an ecosystem among all nodes of the agricultural value chain, and these linkages can be better optimized through synergy amongst all stakeholders. As at the end of December 2021, we have financed 4,489,786 smallholder farmers that cultivated 5,300,411 hectares of land across 21 commodities through 23 participating financial institutions all over the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. We're delighted that these efforts have yielded fruit in not just increasing the availability of rice, but also in moderating prices, reducing imports, and increasing job creation in our country. For example, Thailand alone exported 1.3 million tons of rice to Nigeria in 2014. The Anko-Boras program was launched by Your Excellency in Kebbi in 2015 to curtail these imports, and since then, we have seen incremental reduction in rice imports from Thailand. By 2016, Your Excellency, rice imports from Thailand had fallen to just only 58,000 metric tons. As at the end of 2021, they only exported 2,160 metric tons of rice to Nigeria, thereby saving Nigeria foreign exchange and helping to preserve for our people. Beyond increasing our national output from about 5.4 million metric tons in 2015 to over 9 million metric tons in 2021, we have also significantly improved the productivity per hectare of the smallholder farmers from just about 2 metric tons per hectare in 2015 to over 6 metric tons per hectare in 2021. These expansions have not only made Nigeria the largest food producer in Africa, but has also unlocked enormous private sector investments in the rice value chain as the number of integrated rice mills grew astronomically from 6 in 2015 to over 50 in 2021, and more are coming up, with many more in various stages of completion. Today, Your Excellency, Nigeria's milled rice matches the foreign rice in quality. Taking a cue from our success in rice value chain, we commenced the brown revolution last year as a mantra for the transformation of the wheat value chain in Nigeria. Wheat is the third most consumed grain in Nigeria after maize and rice. It is estimated that we only produce 1%, which is approximately 63,000 tons of wheat, of the 5 million or 6 million tons of wheat consumed annually in Nigeria. This enormous demand-supply gap is bridged by over $2 billion annual importation of wheat. As a result, wheat accounts for the second highest food import bill into Nigeria, thereby putting pressure on the nation's foreign exchange reserves. We have concluded the first major wet season wheat farming in Plateau State and planted over 100,000 hectares of wheat across 15 states in 2021 dry season alone. This strategic intervention will herald progressive reduction in our wheat imports bills over the coming years. We also established a strategic maize reserve with the stock of maize submitted as loan repayment by our farmers. Well, here we're saying when we give you seeds, fertilizer, inputs, and all that, we cost it. When it's time to pay, we don't ask you to give us naira. We collect the proceeds. We collect the produce from you, and we sell ourselves, thereby saving you the burden of going to the market to sell your produce. This will provide a buffer for price modulation for the poultry and feed mills nationwide. A total of 241,656 metric tons was aggregated in 2020 wet season and dry seasons, out of which 217,200 metric tons has been disposed to 18 millers and poultry farmers through Poultry Association of Nigeria. The program was able to stabilize poultry and livestock sectors during the pandemic and saved the industry and consumers over 10 billion naira in raw material costs. Our experience over the years has been transformed to operational efficiency of the program. We have added several layers of controls to improve our transparency and accountability among all stakeholders. And what you are witnessing today, Your Excellency, is a demonstration of our growth and a strong indication of the enormous potential in the country's agricultural space. It is important to note that this is still a far cry from the desired goals. We still have a long road ahead. However, the growth processes reaffirm our belief in the potential inherent in our agricultural space, and we can hopefully harness them to lead Your Excellency's diversification agenda of this economy. This rice pyramid being launched today, Your Excellency, represents aggregated paddy rice submitted as repayment of loans by Rice Farmers Association's farmers under our 2020 dry season and 2021 seasons. Beyond this event, it also symbolizes the efforts made by our farmers to commit to loan repayment through produce submission and ultimately ensure the sustainability of this program. To further create value and transfer these gains along the value chain, we have mapped millers to offtake these paddies, and we will track the release of their output to the markets as we strive to manage inflation and grow the rice value chain in our country.
Through the provision of quality inputs, good economic practices, and secured markets for offtake, productivity per hectare increased to an average of 4 to 5 metric tons. Integrated rice meal grew astronomically to over 50 in 2021, thereby unlocking the enormous private sector investment to the rice value chain. This also led to an increase in national output to over 9 million metric tons.
Seeds variety with refund that has potential to deliver over 8 tons per hectare. This pilot program should be commenced in 2022 dry season, and it has the potential of being the game changer for the rice sector in Nigeria. Your Excellency, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all of the achievements I have highlighted above would not have been possible without the leadership and vision of President Muhammadu Buhari. And Your Excellency, please, he deserves a round of applause. These accomplishments also show that with the right leadership and vision, we can meet we can meet any and every challenge in our country. COVID-19 has shown that we cannot rely on imports, and hence we must chart our own path to attaining self-sufficiency in our basic needs as a nation. And this must become a preeminent preoccupation going forward. Your Excellency, in closing, we have other events like the unveiling of maize pyramids by the Maize Association and the unveiling of inaugural rice pyramids in South-South and Southeast zones lined up for the year. We will surely be becoming on Your Excellencies out of your busy schedules, sir, to grace these events.
We have our smallholder farmers that became committed after the launch of Anchor Borrower Program in 2015 in Birnin Kebbi, the rice state. They became committed and they said, we voted you and they will support you. And they will carry out your instruction that we should go back to farm. Mr. President, those smallholder farmers today, despite all the challenges, despite all the kidnap, the drought, they became committed, and that is why you can see all these pyramids here. Mr. President, some of those farmers has gone. We are only interacting with their children. Some of them are in the hospital, but they keep on going to the farm to produce for Nigeria to eat. Mr. President, those farmers deserve appreciation. Mr. President, the association also that became committed, that work hand in hand with the Central Bank of Nigeria to make sure that we carried out your instruction that we must produce what we eat. The association deserves commendation. Mr. President, there are committees that we constituted, and they came up with what you can see here in collaboration with the Central Bank of Nigeria and the presidency. Mr. President, they deserve commendation. There are commodity associations. We have 74 agricultural commodities in the country. They all team up with us to make this event a reality. Those agricultural commodities deserve commendation, Mr. President. Mr. President, I want to briefly inform everyone of us that is here that at the beginning of every cropping season, Central Bank finance a lot of farmers in different commodities. But in rice, which is my sector, I knew that if they finance 500,000 by the cropping season, attached to every hectare, Mr. President, there is somebody who will supply seed. There is another person who will supply water pump. There is another person who will supply fertilizer. There is another person who will supply herbicide. There is another person who will supply knapsack sprayer. There is another person who will supply planting. There is another person who will supply plowing. There is another person who will supply land preparation. There is another person who will supply empty bags. There is another person who will supply harvesting. There is another person who will supply threshing. There is another person who will supply aggregation. There is another person who will supply transportation. Your Excellency, if you put this number together and attach it on a hectare, it means by the time the Central Bank finance 1 hectare, 13 gainfully people will be engaged to that one single farmer, making it 14 times 500, which becomes close to 3 million every cropping season. And we have done this over 6 years. Mr. President, you can see that in rice alone, every cropping season, about 5 million people under the rice alone have been engaged.
Welcome back, and that's the much we can take on today's edition of the program. Thank you all for staying tuned. Be the best you can be and be that change that you want to see. I am Nancy Najee, hoping to see you all again tomorrow, same time, 11 a.m. on this channel. Be good.
Hold your hand, give him the victory, give him the victory. Jesus, oh. Jesus, oh. We will praise. We will praise. Forever and ever. Everybody raise your hand and declare it. Jesus, oh. Jesus, oh. Jesus, oh. Jesus, oh. Jesus, oh. Come on, come on. Jesus, oh. Hey, we will praise your name, Lord. Tell your neighbor, give this praise. Everybody, let's do it. Everybody declare this morning. Jesus, oh. 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 We will praise your name.